Alright guys, welcome back to part 9 of What Remains of Edith Finch. I have fixed my controller.
I'm
By
sure
fixed,
my mom was
oops.
trying to protect me.
Is this where I left off? I don't even remember where I left off. It's been weeks since I played it before. But this is actually a controller. I didn't just get a new one. But I got a, this is an old one I fixed and it works. Just kind of follow YouTube and told me how to take it apart, put it back together, and clean out some things, and it totally worked. Alright, so here we are back with Edith Finch. We just learned about Walter and hiding from his trauma. Again, we have all these motifs of family, trauma, some magical realism as well happening. Let's go check it out. Oh, that's what we call irony. Hit by a train. Okay, let's see. Oops. The fake thing is not the real thing. The map is not the thing itself. Oh, battery's low. Gotta get on that.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter.
No. In our acts of trying to protect other people, we sometimes enable bad behavior. Any other books? 101 survival techniques, running away spirits, exorcism, train modeling. No. Ghost trapping. Who doesn't want to know that? The Finch curse. Yeah, we got that. Cracking the curse. Let's see. Anything else? The Dark Defense, Benevolent Monsters, Isolation Syndrome. Walter, I think all these books are about you, dude. Okay. Alright, let's move on. And not get hit by a train. Wait, any other books? I said because there are some books that just show up that you don't see other places. Nope. Barbara Finch.
But if she never told me about an uncle under the house...
What else was she hiding?
I can only imagine what else she was hiding.
God, I just love the pacing, the story, the atmosphere as well.
I don't want to make the same mistakes she made.
Oh, I gotta say, this would be a great Airbnb. Alright, let's get out of here. Watch out for a train.
Bury something that's still alive.
Alright, forgetting the
now
past.
That there's only one of us left. Or maybe two. I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself. And found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem.
Because we are the stories we tell ourselves. Each one of us has a little narrative going on in our heads about who we are, what we value, what's happened to us in the past. And that's who you are. It's just a story you tell yourself. From
Maybe we believed so much in a family curse.
You made it happen.
Made it real.
Yeah. That seems a little rude to put the model trains and stuff. I get this guy was really into them, but it seems a little rude to do that for... That's a sharp turn. It's like if someone dies and gets hit by a car.
I don't know if I should even be writing this.
Okay, I was trying to narrate. I'll stop.
Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
Motion sensor. Okay.
But I thought you should know about your family.
Okay, so she's writing a letter or something to somebody. Are we part of the family? Is this just kind of an extension of where the stories we tell ourselves And humanity is made up of the stories that we tell ourselves as a nation, as a people, as a society, as a culture, as a ethnicity, nationality, etc. And so maybe this is just a grander reflection of that. Gotta look for those bigger picture items. That creepy house out there. We'll get to that later.
And the history you're a part of.
Let's go swimming. Nope. Oh, what a wonderful story. There's some messed up ones over here.
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
Maybe the stories we tell ourselves, but only matters if we believe in them.
And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness,
That's a great sentence.
any of it seems possible.
Wonderful. That's some good writing right there. Okay, where are we going next? I suppose we're going outwards. Let's go.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house? It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault.
These are great names. Zerpy, Lurpy, Furpy, Chirpy, Burpy, and Derpy Jr. Poor Lucy, Daisy, Charlie, Tucker, Coco, Zoe. Oh, Shadow, Christopher, Bob, Oliver. Oh, listen to that oboe swell. Oh, that's a good story. That's a good sound. Bailey.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
There we got Molly, 10 years old, Calvin, Sven, Edie, I love that name, Walter Finch. What happened to Walter again? Walter was the... What the hell happened to Walter? Oh, yeah. That's an interesting monument choice. Barbara.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea.
So, real quick, I don't know why I didn't talk about this sooner, but the idea of a family curse isn't unique in literary circles. There was the Hemingway curse, in which Hemingway's... You should probably double check this, but I know his... Hemingway himself committed suicide. I believe several of Hemingway's... I believe 1 or 2 of his siblings, and I know his parents and so on and so forth before committed suicide too. But it's also interesting to treat a family curse as, one, to call something a family curse as a way to rationalize what's horrible that happens to us, as opposed to saying, hey, maybe this is mental illness, maybe this is just all happenstance, and maybe, tragedy doesn't care where you're from and who you are. Bad things happen to good people, and that's the nature of the world.
My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away.
I remember Odin was the one who moved the house.
She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
Monuments. Before we get into that part, let's just think about what is a monument. The idea of one.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand.
Oh? I'll get there. Give me a second. I'm narrating. As I talk about what is a monument. A monument is kind of a physicality of memory. It's a way for us to try to give physical form to memory, something which does not have memory, or excuse me, have physical form. And something else to consider too is the act of how do I say this? Like, to try to evoke some type of aesthetic experience. Aesthetic is the feeling a piece of art gives you, and to say that a monument evokes a certain feeling is tough to say, because how can you really say what a monument evokes? But you can definitely say what it's trying to evoke, because we can't say what an individual's experience is per se, right? So that being said, you know, it's interesting that one, I don't know, now I got myself thinking if graves are monuments, which they absolutely are, and the aesthetics of a grave, but also graves have evolved over time, such as being basically equivalent of either fields for cows to graze on, or parks as well. That changed though with the modernization of cities. But the other part of it too is, I'm losing my train of thought. I mean, I'm trying to evoke a sense of desperation. Monuments are a form of collective memory of the past and trying to pass that on, and I'm just kind of left with the impossibility of that. You know, it's not possible to fully explain experience. So all you have is words and memories and pictures. Nothing can replace ever truly being there.
Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
God, that's young.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now.
Ooh.
Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
I love that the text went from, you know, moved off, how would you even say that? Into the environment, and that very intimate realization moves into the foreground, literally part of the screen. The closer the text is, the more intimate it is, right? Those are, you don't passively consume your media. You gotta think about those things. He said to himself, patting himself on the back. All right, let's keep going.
But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Oh, she's pregnant, eh? Careful, 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 careful. Ooh, sketchy.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense.
Alright, before we start exploring this room, let's go ahead and stop right there. Thanks for joining us, guys. Peace.